All right, guys, welcome to video 3 of lesson 1.4. If you have not watched videos 1 and 2, please go back and do that now and then watch this one third, okay? All right, so we're on these last 3 example problems here, okay? It says if the expression has more than one parentheses, so now we're working with more than one parentheses, you solve the innermost set before solving the rest of the expression. So you solve the innermost parentheses before we solve the rest of the equation. Okay, that kind of sounds like weird verbiage, but I want you to take a look at A. Okay, here we have a set of parentheses here and then a set of parentheses here. As you can see, this is the innermost set of parentheses, right? It's the parentheses on the inside of the other ones. So we solve that 10 minus 8 before we solve anything because that is our innermost set of parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my 20. Bring down my divided by sign because we know we're going to do that later. Bring down my parentheses, bring down my 4, bring down my minus, and then I'm going to do 10 minus 8. And 10 minus 8 is 2, and then I bring down my last set of parentheses. Okay, so we solve the innermost set of parentheses first. That's this 10 minus 8. Okay? Now I need to solve this next set of parentheses because before we can do multiplication and division, remember parentheses come before that in our order of operations. So we need to solve what's in the parentheses first. Okay. So I'm going to do 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. I'm going to bring down my 20 and my divided sign, and 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay. That's the final answer to that problem is 10. So I did the innermost set. I did that 10 minus 8 before I did any other thing in parentheses, and then I got 4 minus 2 from that 10 minus 8. Okay, so anytime we have 2 sets of parentheses, you solve the innermost set first. Okay? For B, we don't have 2 sets of parentheses. We only have 1 set. Okay? We only have 1 set of parentheses right here. So I'm just going to solve it from left to right. So I'm going to do 10 plus 2. That's 12. We're still in parentheses, so I have 12 minus 2 times 6 minus 1. Okay. Now I'm going to do 12 minus 2. That's 10. Bring down my times sign, bring down my 6, bring down my minus, and bring down my 1. All right. Now, do I have any exponents? I do not have any exponents. So what's next? It's that M and that D. It's multiplication, division. I do have multiplication. Okay. So I'm going to do my multiplication. 10 times 6 is 60. Bring down my minus, bring down my 1. All that's left is addition and subtraction. In this case, it's subtraction. So 60 minus 1 is 59. And that's the final answer to that equation. Okay. Now let's take a look here. We have 5 minus 12 divided by negative 2. These look a little bit different than our normal parentheses, right? Those are what is called brackets, but we treat them just like parentheses. All right. So we're going to solve what's inside those before we solve anything else. And what's inside those is that 12 divided by negative 2. So we're going to solve this 12 divided by negative 2 before we solve anything else. Okay? So I'm going to do that right now. 12 divided by negative 2. Remember, when you divide 2 numbers and they have opposite signs, so one's positive and one's negative, you're always going to get a negative. So we know my answer is going to be negative. So 12 divided by negative 2 is going to be negative 6. I'm going to bring down my 5 and my minus sign. I'm going to put this in parentheses so we know it's also a negative 6. And now, oh, look, I have 2 negatives right next to each other. Remember, 2 negatives always make a positive. So I'm going to change this to a giant positive sign. Okay, this is a giant plus sign. Now all I have to do is 5 plus 6, and that is 11. Okay, and that is the final answer to this problem. All right, so that was all 3 videos for lesson 1.4, simplifying expressions using order of operations, or PEMDAS, okay, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, and addition and subtraction. Okay, there will be a short homework video after this explaining what numbers you need to do and then doing some examples with you. Okay, thanks for tuning in.